What is happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today we have another top 10 list coming up. And this time it's going to be one of our favorites here at the channel. A gentleman we've covered a lot, and it's going to be Neil Young.
Yep, and we're doing this one for our patron Carl. And Carl has had us run all of Neil's 1970s albums. Now, at the time of filming this, we still have a couple left that we have not reviewed, but Carl had the good idea. We're going to put this up when we're done with that whole run. So look below for the link. We have all of the albums basically in the 70s are up. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. We got all kinds of stuff every single day on the channel. And if you'd like us to do a top 10, react to an album, do an album review, song reaction, or support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below. It makes this channel go.
Oh, absolutely. And before we get into the quick facts and the review itself, music won't be on here due to copyright, but there will be a link to the full reaction down in the comments below, or the description rather. And so if you want to just see our reactions to the tunes, you can just stay here. But if you want the music, go to Vimeo. I think I'm familiar as I'm going through the list. I'm familiar with a lot of this list, but there's still a couple tracks that I'm not aware of, because there's a couple 90s tunes on here that I don't know.
There's one in the 70s we haven't got to yet. But I think, Carl is obviously a huge fan of Neil Young, and has a very encyclopedic knowledge of his stuff. So I was very much looking forward to seeing his list, as with someone like Neil, who has an unbelievable amount of material. You probably won't agree with this list, because there's no way to make a list that everybody agrees with, but I think you did a great job with it.
Oh, definitely. And talking of Neil, he's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, 95 as a solo artist and 97 as a member of Buffalo Springfield. So, that's kind of a rarity. I don't know how many people are in twice, but it's not that many. Rolling Stone named him the 34th greatest rock and roll artist. Seems a little low.
Agreed.
He is often distorted electric guitar playing, especially with Crazy Horse, earned him the nickname the Godfather of Grunge. 22 albums and singles have been certified gold and platinum in the U.S., with estimated worldwide sales of more than 75 million.
Yeah, man. Quite the resume and quite the staying power. We're going to jump right in at number 10, Helpless, from the Unplugged sessions in June of 93, originally recorded by CSNY, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, on their 1970 album, Deja Vu.
Which we do have a CSNY top 10 up as well.
We do. Yeah. I'll link that below too. And Helpless was originally recorded with Young's band Crazy Horse in early '69, before his new CSNY bandmates convinced him it would suit them better. I'm sure they heard him and went, hey man, why don't we put this over here? The quote, town in North Ontario, referred to in the opening line of the song, is often presumed to be Ontario native Young's hometown. Young himself cleared up the rumors in a 1995 Mojo interview. He said, well, it's not literally a specific town so much as a feeling. Actually, it's a couple towns. Omagh, Ontario is one of them. It's where I first went to school and spent my formative years. Actually, I was born in Toronto, ... So a lot of Neil's songs in the research that I've done for all his albums, it kind of gets that way, He doesn't have a clear story all the time of what it's about. It's been so long, and it's probably, kind of a variety of things. And back in the day, substances flowed pretty freely in the 60s and 70s.
That's right,
so,
that's right. Well,
it is what it is. But this song...
These first three, 10, 9, and 8, are the three I don't know on this list. So I'm looking forward to always hearing some more Neil Young. So thank you again, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Let's get this one rocking. All right, Helpless, coming in, starting us off. Quite a tune, man. Instrumentally, I quite enjoyed that. The unplugged nature of it really kind of brought an extra dimension of power to it.
Yeah, I think it suits Neil. I think it's Neil in a nutshell, that song right there. Yeah, slow build, not only to get into the song, but it's a slow build, especially the first verse and pre-chorus. Very slow on delivery, like in a good way. Powerful, draws you in.
Kind of a contemplative type of tune. This is one that, I didn't say much in the reaction itself. This is one, we both have the lyrics pulled up on our respective computers. I'm just looking, really thinking of what he was saying. And Neil's got that voice where, very soothing and soft whenever it wants to be, draws you in, and that's what we had here. Especially impressive too, since this is live and unplugged. And
I was gonna say, he sounds fantastic.
Especially, this came out in '93, so past his what you would think would be his prime
Yeah, 25
voice.
years after he started pounding stuff out, so for sure.
But really enjoyed the accordion that was in there, the harmonica, especially that outro was quite neat, and just the female vocal coming in on the chorus, leave us helpless, helpless, helpless. But just really a powerful tune that just kind of gets you thinking. I can kind of think I'm out there in the fields of Canada, watching everything, man.
Exactly.
But good way to start off this list. And now we're going to go to another tune I don't know. I think we might have played this on a live stream before.
I think so too, but I don't know it either.
I'm the Ocean from Mirror Ball, so from 1995. So I'm looking forward to diving into this one. 7 minutes long, so let's see what we got in store here. I'm the Ocean coming in at number 9, man. What a I kind of said it in the reaction, but what a trip, man. What a so much lyrically coming at you, and that guitar was just so heavy throughout the entire track.
Man, yeah, I mean that. When you talked about him at the start, the distorted guitar, the grandfather of grunge, it really played out, and because it just drove the entire song. It's a long song, quite the epic storytelling. But yeah, I really loved everything about it. Never heard this one,
dude. Yeah, that was killer, man. Just a track that you just kind of get lost. This is one where you'll go back and you'll pick up more stuff.
Oh yeah, because it's so rich, man.
On more listens, which is what I love about Neil, man. He's got that depth to him, and then you hear stuff like this, and you're like, man, there's still so much Neil to discover.
I like verse 2. People my age, they don't do the things I do. They go somewhere where I run away with you.
I've got my friends and I've got my family too, and I got her love. She's got my love too. Just kind of going through, it almost just paints a picture of life at times, and then the Neil himself, even at the end there, saying I'm the ocean, kind of has this unique quality to him throughout the track. He even notes, I can't hear you, but I feel the things you say. I can't see you, but I see what's in my way. Now I'm floating because I'm not tied to the ground. Words I've spoken seem to leave a hollow sound. Just getting metaphorical here as well. And then he kind of details out the homeless heroes and everybody kind of looking for entertainment. They need distraction, need romance and candlelight, need random violence, need entertainment tonight. And then at the very end of the track, Neil, he's kind of alone in bed. He started dreaming, saw the writer once again in the doorway where she stood and watched for him. Then that kind of transitioned us into the outro with the I'm the Ocean type of deal. Very strong song, man. I always love discovering new great Neil tracks, and this next one's going to be has quite the hype around it as well.
It does. Powderfinger from Rust Never Sleeps in 1979. By the time this is up, we will review this album, but we have not so far. A 2014 Rolling Stone special issue on Neil ranked it as his best song ever. Ooh. It's the first song of the second electric side of Rust Never Sleeps. All Music describes the song following the album's mellower acoustic first side as, quote, a sudden, almost blindsiding metamorphosis, which is entirely the point. It's the shot you never saw coming. The lyrics are the posthumous narration of a young man who attempts to protect his family against an approaching gunboat.
Ooh, he then realizes that all of the older men are unavailable, leaving him to, quote, do the thinking. After initial indecision, he eventually takes action and is ultimately killed. Ooh, there's a line in there, my face splashed in the sky. All right. I'm looking forward to this one. They also have the line about fading away so young. Echo his line, it's better to burn out than fade away, which he sings on the opening song of Rust Never Sleeps. Kurt Cobain, loved that line.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to diving into this one. He also recorded a solo acoustic version of this track
way back in '75.
Ooh, and intended for it to be released on Chrome Dreams, which we talked about on some of our Neil Young reviews that didn't end up getting released. He later sent the tape to his friend Ronnie Van Zant of Leonard Skinner, who were to use the song on their next record. However, of course, Van Zant unfortunately died in October '77, and Leonard Skinner never recorded the song. So
wow, quite the build-up.
Dang. Well, this one should be great. What a track, dude! What a freaking track! This is getting me hyped to review Rust Never Sleeps.
Yeah, this thing is fantastic. I don't know if it's his greatest song ever because it's the first time I ever heard it, but Yeah, it's fantastic. It tells the story that we talked about. Look out, Mama, there's a white boat coming up the river with a big red beacon and a flag and a man on the rail. Think you better call John because it don't look like they're here to deliver the mail. And so here they come. They're coming for him.
The law's coming in. I kind of like some of the lines in here were a little humorous, even amidst a very serious situation. Daddy's gone, brother's gone out hunting in the mountains. Big John, who we mentioned in the first verse, he's been drinking since the river took Emmy Lou. So I don't know if his girlfriend died.
That's what I would think.
So the powers that be left me here to do the thinking, and I just turned 22. So now we're like, oh man, this person's still in that young adulthood, barely.
Yeah, he didn't want this call on him, but he don't have a choice.
The closer they got, the more those feelings grew. We had an epic solo here, man. Always love Crazy Horse and Company here with Neil. And then we had he had his daddy's rifle in his hand.
And it felt reassuring.
It felt reassuring. He said, "Red means run, son. Numbers add up to nothing." But when the first shot hit the docks, I saw it coming. Raised my rifle to my eye and never stopped to wonder why. Then I saw black and my face splashed in the sky. That was just such a powerful line, dude. And just with the guitar that was giving it the energy and life throughout the song.
The whole song. And then the last verse is great because think of me as one you'd never figured would fade away so young with so much left undone. Remember me to my love. I know I'll miss her. I was like, wow, man.
Leaving the loved ones behind, dude. Gosh, that's a powerful, powerful song. For sure. That one might end up in the top three favorites that we do.
It very well might.
At the end, as this next tune might, man. This is one of my favorite Neil songs. Now, I believe I've heard every other song, or we've heard every other song on the list. So we got Cortez the Killer from Zuma.
Right.
7.5 minute epic tune. We go more in depth on it on our track by track review. So if you want to
Zuma that we got up,
check that out. Got quite a bit of acclaim as well. 39 in Guitar World's 100 Greatest Solos, 329 in Rolling Stone's list of 500 Greatest Song. Young stated in concert that he wrote the song while studying history in high school in Winnipeg.
Yeah, and it's about Cortez, obviously, the conquistador conquered Mexico for Spain. It does the lyrics don't start till about 3.5 minutes.
Got that long intro, man.
Into the song, and there is a part in there. The third person narrative jumps to first person with a reference to an unmarried woman, and I know she's living there, and she loves me this day. I still can't remember when or how. I just lost my way. He had recently gone through his breakup with Carrie Snodgrass around this time, so it's like the song jumps from Cortez into this strange thing here. And then the thing I remember when we reviewed this, I found interesting. The song fades out after nearly 7.5 minutes, as according to Young's father and Neil and me, an electrical circuit had blown, causing the console to go dead. In addition to losing the rest of the instrumental work, a final verse was also lost. When producer David Briggs had to break this news to the band, Young replied, "I never liked that verse anyway. The additional verse has not been identified or recorded officially." When Young was asked what makes his guitar playing great, he replied, "In general, not specific to the song. I am naturally a very destructive person, and that really comes out in my guitar playing." If you think of a guitar playing in terms of boxing, well, let's just say I'm not the kind of guitarist you want to play against. I'm just scarred by life. Nothing in particular. No more scarred than anyone else. Only other people often don't let themselves know how damaged they are, like I do, and deal with it. And I put that in there because I think it really plays out in this solo.
Yeah, in this guitar playing is just fiery, man, just fiery. I love the intro to this, and man, it's a killer tune. So
let's do it.
Let's enjoy it. Gosh, one of my favorite Neil songs. And it really is almost a tale of two. Like they could have just kept the 3.5 minute and just kept it as an instrumental, and it still would have been epic.
Yeah, I know, and that's a great statement, and that's 100% correct. I have my thoughts on it exactly. It's every bit a part of the song. We hear stuff that has a slow build. They knew this was good, or it wouldn't have been 3.5 minutes. It would have been 1.5 minutes. But it doesn't ever lose your attention, and then it just comes rolling in, and the lyrics and the storytelling is excellent. It just fits right in with what that solo was at the start.
Definitely, man. And again, love his vocal delivery on this as well. It's soft, but it has still has a power to it, which fits obviously the subject matter in here. And just breaking down, talking about the Aztec culture, the Aztec life. And he notes here, maybe my favorite lines: the people worked together and they lifted many stones. They carried them to the flat lands and they died along the way. But they built up with their bare hands what we still can't do today. I mean, just the Aztec culture, so many transformational stuff at its time that still today is quite impressive. And then at the end in the outro, he came dancing across the water. Cortez. What a killer. The first time Cortez is mentioned is, in the last 10 seconds of the song.
Which I thought was a great Neil touch as well.
But yeah, man, fantastic tune. And now we're going to go to a kind of an underrated maybe Neil record. We got him from American Stars and Bars in 1977, Like a Hurricane.
Which was written in 75, like a lot of stuff that pops up in Neil because he had the unreleased stuff. But we're familiar with this one. It's a fantastic one.
All right, Like a Hurricane, man. Definitely one of Neil's best guitar tracks ever, obviously. This was one of my favorites on American Stars and Bars, when we do our favorite tracks at the end of, all our reviews. Yeah. And it definitely holds up. It's long, but those guitar solos we were talking a little bit in the review, Dad, they are so, so much packed with emotion. You can just kind of get on them and write them out.
Yeah, I think if you don't like this song, then you're really not going to like Neil Young. I'll go as far as saying it's kind of Neil all wrapped up into one. Some heartfelt lyrics, like you can feel his emotion.
Definitely.
As he's singing it. And then obviously, like you said, the fantastic instrumentation. Obviously, he's got some songs that are quieter that we're going to get to here in a few. But this is kind of, for me, one of the two sides of Neil that I think of that's just tremendous. And I think, he didn't mind running this out. I mean, people are going to tell you, dude, you can't run this long of instrumentals. Like, it's not going to, people aren't going to like it. But he's going to do his own thing. So
because in the middle of the track we had a couple minutes, and then
you think that's going to be it, but then he puts it on at the end.
Last 3 minutes, which just coming off Cortez the Killer, where kind of the first 3 minutes where the guitar worked.
No, exactly.
That was I don't know if Carl did that intentionally, but hey, man, a little connection there, and I like the chorus. You were like a hurricane. There's calm in your eye. That concept. You think of a hurricane. What's your first thought? The
destruction.
Yeah, but then he goes, what? Because the middle of the eye of the hurricane's the one calm.
Yeah.
But that the storm is coming, so to speak. And it just the way he sings that, when the feeling stays, I want to love you, but I'm getting blown away, and just I think the lyrics fit the guitar work perfectly.
I agree.
Maybe even a little bit Hendrix even inspired on the guitar at certain points.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
But now it's time for our top 5.
And a song that I love, and it's Neil. It's the epitome of Neil. It's Borrowed Tune off Tonight's the Night from 75. There's a line, I'm singing this borrowed tune I took from the Rolling Stones, alone in this empty room, too wasted to write my own. The melody and chord structure are based on the 1966 Rolling Stones song Lady Jane by Mick and Keith, hence the title Borrowed Tune. And that's part of the beauty of Neil. Neil's not going, I'm going to go ahead and take this, because that was popular back then. I'm not going to mention any names, Jimmy Page, but basically, he's just like, I took this from them. I love it, man. It is just, it's Neil's charm. I didn't have anything. I just took this. So it's a great song.
Oh, it really is, man.
Or a great tune.
This whole record Tonight's the Night is just fantastic.
Very underrated. All right, obviously, if you're listening along and not just watching us on YouTube, the dichotomy between, that's the other side.
No, I was about to say that you didn't even plan that. It kind of went with
this is the total other side of just vulnerable, and Neil can pull them both off. And I thought this is just, it's a great choice, especially to show the two sides of it.
Yeah, and, this isn't one of my favorite Neil songs, or even one of my favorites on Tonight's the Night, which just goes to show, how great his catalog is. Carl 100%. Has it in the top 5, and it's still a really, really good song, man. And, just as you mentioned, Dad, just that side of Neil with the piano, the harmonica, him going with the heartfelt lyrics, it all just works so well together. So one moment, one song, you might be getting the hard rock and guitar laden, tracks that we all know and love from Neil, and then the next you're gonna be getting this where you're following along, just kind of getting lost in your feelings, so to speak. All right, now that's going to take us to another long epic track, and we're going to go back to 1969. Everybody knows this is Nowhere. We got Down by the River. This is actually the first Neil record I ever heard, and the first one we reviewed on the channel, and a nice story too, because you got a lover who apparently murdered his gal, man. But Neil's had some different types of claims throughout the years.
He has. He said in an interview in 1970, so right after this came out, that, quote, "There's no real murder in it. It's about blowing your thing with a chick. It's a plea. It's a desperate cry." But introducing the song in New Orleans all the way in 1984, so 14 years later, he claimed it depicts a man who, quote, "had a lot of trouble controlling himself, who catches his woman cheating on him, then meets her down by the river and shoots her." So this one is another one that's going to build a little bit. It begins with electric guitars followed by bass, snare, drum before the vocals begin. In one solo, the same note is repeated 38 times.
That's right.
And in 2015... one of your namesakes, Fish guitarist Trey
That's right.
Anastasio, wrote, "If I was ever going to teach a master class to young guitarists, the first thing I would play them is the first minute of Neil Young's original Down by the River solo." Can't get much better of a setup than that.
This is not only a great song, but a great record. One of my favorites
man.
by Neil. So
fantastic.
Let's enjoy this one, man. All right, Down by the River, man. It had been a minute since I heard that track.
Boy, it's been a while, man. It's made me think as I was listening to it, I need to get back to this album sometime, just throw it on in my spare time.
Yeah, because, it's only 7 songs, and, this and Cowgirl in the Sand take up a ton of the...
it does, yeah.
And, of course, we always... we'll always quote Everybody Knows This
We
Is
love
Nowhere,
that song around this household, man. Trey and I will quote that from time to time. Not barely a week goes by we don't quote that song somehow.
But yeah, man, this again, just especially in this period of Neil, I think it's that great blend of Neil taking that psychedelic rock, even a little bit of that folky vocal delivery at times, and blending it, which he does on his debut record, which is before this, which I think is one of the most underrated albums, debut albums ever. And it's, not talked about just since all Neil did afterwards. But man, that guitar solo, just like a hurricane, so emotionally packed.
Yeah, agreed, man. I don't have much more to add to that. You're exactly right. And a little pattern here, I think, of what Carl likes, man, and what most hardcore Neil people like. It's just fantastic. Like I said, if you want a little 3-minute songs and a little package, Neil's not the guy for you, man, because he's going to let it run, man.
He's going to let it rip. And, as we were talking in the reaction, I think it is clear that it is a murder situation, man.
Yeah, I just, maybe after you put that out there, maybe it's like, oh, no, because maybe that didn't go over real well. Now it probably really wouldn't go over well. But in 1970, you probably thought, I better leave this a little vague. I don't want people getting too upset. But
all right, well, now we're in the top 3, ladies and gentlemen, and now we got the first track from maybe my favorite Neil record, and, one of his biggest records. We got From Harvest in 1972, Old Man. Single went to 4 in Canada, 31 in the U.S. Written for the caretaker of the Northern California Broken Arrow Ranch, which Young purchased for $350,000 in 1970. So not a small purchase then.
No, and it compares a young man's life to an old man's and shows that the young man has, to some extent, the same needs as the old one. The great James Taylor, Sweet Baby James. 6-string banjo, tuned like a guitar, and sang on the song. And Linda Ronstadt also contributed vocals.
That's right.
So the story behind that is they were in Nashville and they just spun in there. They knew his manager and just said, hey, we'll drop some stuff down, man.
So one of Neil's more famous tunes, only 3.5 minutes, and great track. So
great track.
Powerful song, man, coming in at Carl's number 3 spot. Unbelievable songwriting on this, and I mentioned it a little in the reaction itself, but I love the fact it starts verse 1 from the young man's perspective.
Yeah.
Then second verse we go to the old man, and I like that 24, and there's so much more. I'm 24, man, so I connected this song a bit.
I was going to say, there you go. And I'm not quite this guy's age, but I am an old man. I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, but an interesting choice, and I like it for number 3. I don't think a lot of people would have put this here. Just fantastic storytelling on his part.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, gosh, this record, man. Looking at the track list, it is a killer.
It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one to top, but I don't know, man. I don't even know if it's my favorite. So
No.
I don't think it is, even though that's crazy.
Well, we're gonna stay with the man and go now to another one of my favorite Neil records. After the Gold Rush,
Yeah,
1970, we have Southern Man, a very powerful tune because they describe the racism towards African Americans in the American South. Young here tells the story of a white man, symbolically the entire white South, and how he mistreated his slaves. Young asked the South, will it make amends for the fortunes built through slavery? And then, this is where we get the whole Leonard Skinner deal coming in response, writing Sweet Home Alabama. One of their more famous tunes. We actually do have a Leonard Skinner top 10.
We do. And they wrote it in response to this song and to Alabama from Harvest. Young noted that Leonard Skinner's implied criticism was deserved because Young's lyrics to Alabama were condescending and accusatory. The lengthy guitar solo is one of Young's most famous, so here we go again. It's fuzzy, harsh, and erratic, with one section in particular where Neil only plays one dissonant chord repeatedly for several seconds. The harshness of the solo helps augment the pure fury expressed by Young towards the racist oppressors in the Deep South. When we dropped this album, I had several people comment that, no, they didn't have a problem. Yes, they did.
Leonard and Young.
Yes, they did. But yes, they made amends, and it was all good. We're all aware of that. But at the time,
there was
an issue.
All right, Southern Man coming in at the 2 spot. It is one of my favorites on After the Gold Rush, and I think the production on After the Gold Rush is just fantastic. It's so unique. It's almost like Neil's voice is got that automatic double tracking on it.
Yeah, I agree.
And the way they work in the backing vocals is fantastic. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a fantastic tune. Kind of encompasses, as several of these songs that Carl chose, kind of all the best parts of Neil. And once again, I'm a broken record, but if you don't like to let the instrumentals breathe, you're not really going to care for Neil too much. But I thought the lyrics were very biting, and because it's more of not a rocker, but the guitars, everything plays so prominent. You may not realize and just get lost in the song if you don't really listen to those lyrics. But I really encourage you to do that because they're great.
Yeah, loved the fact that the guitar kind of again reflected some of that passion, maybe even anger in the lyrics. Especially the chorus. I heard screaming and bullwhips cracking. How long? How long? Then we go into that really long guitar solo. That's just fantastic. And yeah, man, what a great tune. And Neil was never shy. Obviously, he did Alabama, and I mean his most famous kind of protest song, if you will, of course, is Ohio with CSNY. So that's again another thing I really respect about Neil. Not afraid to go in and to touch on topics that make some people uncomfortable, like this song probably does. But I agree with what he is saying in here for sure. And now to our number one hole.
We are. It's Cinnamon Girl. Everybody knows this is Nowhere, 1969. It reached 55 in the U.S. Like 2 other songs is what I love from this album. Cowgirl in the Sand that you mentioned earlier and Down by the River. Young wrote this while he was suffering from the flu with a 103-degree fever at his home in California. It displays the very prominent role played by Danny Whitten. It's a tragic story and another story that we won't get into. In the sound of Young's early recordings, the vocals are a duet with Whitten singing the high harmony against Young's low harmony.
Man, so and I like this too because this is the opener of this record, and it's a pretty catchy track, man.
It really is.
It's a pretty darn catchy track. So
it really is.
After this, we'll do our top 3 tunes. All right, wrapping up this list, coming in at number 1 on Carl's list, we got Cinnamon Girl.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting choice because it's a shorter tune, but encompasses everything. So I guess if you do like those little 3-minute songs, here's your little 3-minute song with Neil. A really just kind of packed with everything. Very catchy, as you said. More catchy than a lot of his songs. His songs aren't necessarily catchy. That's not the idea of them, but with the exception, obviously, of Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. But a A really good choice.
And no, man, it has that riff, that fuzziness that encompasses Neil at this time, man. And again, as you mentioned, Dad, that catchiness, that my cinnamon girl, you're just ready.
And I think that might be why they chose as the album opener.
Yeah,
as well.
It works great as an opener. Enjoy the fake out at the end, last 20 seconds. You think it's fading, and then Neil comes back in with some more guitar work.
And him and Danny sound fantastic together.
Absolutely, man. And just as you mentioned, kind of encapsulates everything about Neil that is good, especially in that late 60s, early 70s period. And now that's going to take us to our favorite tracks, which is tough, man, because
I know,
there's so many good tunes on here. For me, I'm going to go Cortez the Killer, just because I love not only the guitar work, but the just the lyrical content of that, the whole atmosphere and vibe. I'm going to go Southern Man. And then it's between either Like a Hurricane or Down by the River. As you can see, I'm gravitating to some of the longer tunes here. I think I'm going to lean to Down by the River. Give some love to that. Everybody knows this is a Nowhere record. But it's close, man. You could convince me on a lot of these.
Well, I mean, I guess that means I got to go. I don't know, man. I'm going to go Down by the River. I'm going to actually go Borrowed Tune just because I love the tongue-in-cheek and I love the difference of him on that.
With the harmonica piano working well.
And then I'm going to go Like a Hurricane.
Hey, there you go, man. Shout out I'm the Ocean for one of the two tracks that we didn't, weren't that familiar with. That was a great song. And we didn't even mention Powderfinger.
Powderfinger was almost going to make my list. It's very close.
Oh, Old Man was up there for me as well.
Yeah, man. You could talk me into. And there's about 10 other songs I would throw on here as well. So you did a good job, Carl. I know a lot of people are going to go like, "Where's this song?
Where's this?" Where it's like, there's only 10, man.
There's only 10, and I think I totally trust. Carl's been a fan of Neil forever and really knows his catalog. So you might not agree with this list, but know that it wasn't put together by someone who didn't have an expansive knowledge of Neil. And you and I don't have an expansive knowledge, but a lot better than we did a year ago, thanks to Carl.
That's right, man.
What a great list.
Looking forward to continue our Neil Young journey, and this was a cool way to kind of cap off all of our 70s reviews.
Exactly.
So, big thanks to Carl for bringing this.
Thank you, brother.
Of course, let us know your top 10 Neil Young tracks down in the comment section below. Appreciate it as always, Dad, and until next time, we will see you.